Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video for More Survivalists. In this case, showing you guys the Kershaw lifter, which is a knife that comes inside this nice looking box. I usually don't pay that much attention to packaging. In general, I prefer companies save on packaging and spend that money on making the product cheaper or with more value to the actual product. But I will say the box does look quite nice. It does go along with that black wash theme that the knife has going to it. So that's nice. Black wash series. Own it. Black wash. That's it. That's pretty simple and to the point, but a nice presentation nonetheless. Inside we actually have the actual knife and a little bit of information here. It's the manual is like a generic one for Kershaw knives in general. So it's more of a generic knife guide, tip up, tip down and such. Correct pocket clip usage, care and maintenance, sharpening. It says a little bit of information regarding the torque screws used. Sometimes there's a little bit of confusion. This makes things a little bit easier to know what kind of bit to use. Sharpening knives, the right angle and such. Here we get to something interesting. Limited lifetime warranty. Kershaw from K. Well, this is nice to know that you actually have a limited lifetime warranty, and if you accidentally break your Kershaw folder blade, we can replace it for just $10. Blades that break due to a manufacturing defect will still be replaced under warranty free of charge. So this is interesting because if you have a poorly heat treated blade that snaps on you under normal use conditions, in that case it's under the warranty and they're going to be replacing it for you. Now if you break it because you abuse it beyond anything that's reasonable, then that's just $10 for you. Now to the actual knife, which is the point of this video. I just like it a lot. Let's start by saying that I liked it when I first saw it. When I first saw it, I just went for one because there's a lot of knives out there. The market is saturated with knives. Now, every once in a while, something very interesting that catches my attention comes along. First thing that caught my attention was the price. $20 for this knife, and yes, the link to Amazon is going to be going there below. Probably going up already. The price had went down up to $19, I think, which was a steal. $19 for this knife was crazy. I think it's already $20, $21, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up to $25, even $29 or so, depending on how well it sells. Remember, the price is whatever people are willing to pay for it. At the end of the day, that's it. So sometimes they start with very low prices so as to get the word going and such, and then they start bringing it up. I think that for $20, man, such a nice knife. I like so many things about it. I like the aesthetics. I think that the black wash finish works very well. All steel construction. You have steel grips. You have a frame lock system. 3.5 inch blade. 4.5 inch handle, which allows for a good grip. It's not huge if you have too big of a paw. Maybe it's a tad smaller, but for even medium large hands, you wouldn't have a problem. It fits comfortably enough and locks securely with the frame lock system. It's a speed safe system, guys. As you've probably seen, it's a speed safe. It's an assisted opening, so it's not automatic. It's perfectly legal in places where automatic knives are banned and such, because you have to do a little bit of force of your own. But with that flipper that you have there, I don't actually use the thumb stud, but with that flipper, it takes a little bit of a breaking in. It has a little bit of a breaking in period, but after opening maybe 20, 30 times and such, it starts feeling a little bit more buttery and softer. The black wash finish, the aesthetics are quite pleasing. The black wash is supposed to help in terms of scratches and use, making it less noticeable. It also has a practical side to it, which is you know what reminds me of the phosphate finish of some of the older military gear floating around, especially in some of the older guns. I remember one of my Bache Thermolinas had a phosphate finish, which was very good looking, but besides that, it's the phosphate finish allows you to have a little bit of oil spread over the metal, and the oil is caught within the very light texture of the phosphate finish. So that's what actually helps protect the blade. In this case, I'm pretty sure it's something similar that goes on. If you have a little bit of oil, you spread it, it's going to be helping preserve the surface of your knife a little bit better. I also like the shape of the blade. I think this is what did it for me. The price was good. The shape blade was actually quite nice. I like recurve blades a lot, and this combination with the Tanto clip, man, I love this. To me, it is a blade shape that works well regarding the utilitarian aspect of the knife. Okay, because it allows you for some nicer, precise cutting when you need it to do so. At the same time, the recurve blade means that for anything that you're going to be needing a little bit more of slashing power for cutting rope, cutting harder materials, it's going to be catching whatever you're slashing at or cutting in that curvature. Even in defensive applications, it would have a good amount of use. It's going to be working nicely for that within the limitations of the blade length. Guys, 3.5-inch blade is not very long, but with a good design as you have here, you can do quite a bit of work with it. It's a little bit harder to sharpen. That would be one of the disadvantages. Even though the Tanto style clip tip is going to be easier, having a straight line always makes it easier for sharpening. So this would be the easiest part of sharpening of the knife. Then for the curvature, you're probably going to be needing a ceramic or diamond rod to sharpen it, and quite a good stable hand so as to keep the angle right. You have a deep carry pocket clip, and it's only for right-handed people. It's only for the right-handed pocket. That for me is a bit of a disadvantage. I would have preferred to have the option of moving it at least left and right. If you're not giving me the tip up, tip down option, at the very least make it a knife that can be used for left or right-handed people. I'm not sure if it's that complicated to drill a couple holes here. Seems simple enough, and based on what I see, it shouldn't be that hard to do so and move this clip to this other side, making it a left-handed knife. This hole here, there's not much of an explanation as of why it is there. I think it adds a little bit to the aesthetics of the knife. It's not weakening the knife terribly, even though it is, because you are losing some material. It would be stronger if you didn't have it here, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I could find a couple uses for that hole there, for bending some wire or something like that. It allows you to do a little bit of that sort of stuff. Maybe I would have been happier with with not having that hole there at all, but I'd much rather have it here and not on the spine, where it's definitely gonna be weakening the blade considerably more. You even it has these nice little details of knives that you would expect from a knife much more expensive. You have an over travel stop here, which doesn't let the frame lock to exceed this limit set by this disc. So it's not going to be over traveling in the opposite direction, As of how much engagement does it have? It's not awfully. I guess it's like 30-40%, not half the way through. but it's good enough. As you start using the knife a little bit more, it starts wearing a little bit more. It's going to be moving deeper when it locks. So I'd rather have maybe a little bit less travel on the surface that engages of the frame lock than too much. If you have too much, there's always the possibility that after time goes by, as the knife starts wearing a little bit more, that it may go to just too far below the surface of the blade that it's locking. Disengage quickly and nicely enough. It opens, every time you open it, it opens a little bit nicer and more buttery. So I'm pretty certain that with a little bit of wear and use, it's going to be getting even better. The speed safe system is very convenient. It makes it easier for you to quickly deploy the knife with a flipper. This is what I would suggest going for instead of not so nice like that. Here it's much more convenient and faster. Then you have these nice designs on the handle. I think it works very well along with the general black wash looks and aesthetics that they're going for. Overall, folks, a very nice knife. Really, I mean, I like so many things about it. I think it works so very well, especially at that price. If you were putting a $40-50 buck price tag on this knife, maybe I would still think it's good enough, but you would have to maybe give me a little bit more. For example, the steel of the knife, there's no mention whatsoever as what kind of steel they're using. I can only assume it's a budget, very affordable steel that Kershaw is comfortable enough with, and they heat treated it properly. I'm not going to be going crazy on the quality of steel of a $20 knife. That's not what it's about. If it's heat treated properly, it should work well enough. If it had been a fancier, more expensive steel, the price would have been different. You're not going to be getting super steel in a 20-buck knife. But if the company does a decent job when heat treating it, it should be functional and practical enough. Only time will tell how well the heat treatment was. As of right now, I can only tell you this much, that it's sharp enough. It's not awfully sharp, definitely not the sharpest knife I've seen. And I haven't done any of my own work on this knife. This is as it comes out of the box. It does cut paper. Does it shave? Yep, the tip does shave. This section of the blade does shave. And so does this one. So yes, it's shaving sharp out of the box. That's more than I can say from many knives that cost a lot more money. Man, this recurve edge is very nice, very pleasant. And the Tanto clip combination, man, that's so nice. I don't know, what do you guys think? Besides, if you know what kind of steel this is, which I haven't found anywhere, not on Kershaw, not on the forums, if you know the kind of steel the blade is, let me know in the comment section. I'd like to know, and I would appreciate that. Other than that, I think it's a no-brainer. If you're looking for an EDC knife capable of utility use, carrying it around for pretty much anything that you have in mind, and including defensive applications, I think this knife, for a 3.5-inch blade with that recurve edge, it would do a number of things very, very well. The weight, in case you're wondering, is 5.7 ounces, which is heavy because this is all steel construction. I'm not a weight Nazi. I don't have a problem with weight, especially not in a tool, especially if the weight means that I have a more solid tool that's going to be holding on better. I'm perfectly okay with that. Sure, there's a limit to how far you can go in terms of weight, but in general, especially anything that goes clipped to a pocket, at least to me, it's not that much of a big deal. And definitely not when I'm getting such a solid knife. Yep, I'll get back to you guys after I've had a few more a little bit more time with the knife and trying it out a little bit better and see if there's anything that surprises me negatively, or anything that surprises me that I'm not seeing. But as of what I see right now, as of what I can tell from the design of the blade and the first impressions of handling, it's a no-brainer. I highly recommend it to anyone that is looking for a knife of this type. If you're liking what you're seeing, I can tell you that after handling it personally a little bit, it just confirms, and even it's slightly better than I expected. I was expecting a little bit less of a knife for 20 bucks. I thought that the pictures would be a little bit better, but after handling it personally, it would not be as good. No, that's not the case. It's just as good or even better than I expected, and it looks so good as well. A little bit more time, and I'll get back to you guys with some more, some more feelings and thoughts of the Kershaw lifter. Folks, the link is there below in case you want to try one yourself. Take care, have a great day, and as always, see you on our next video.